I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. I hope everyone is doing okay. It has been a long time since I have been on. I think I haven't been on live in like 2 weeks, maybe a little longer, but I had an issue that I was taking care of. Either way, welcome to the channel. Now we are talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Frack is back, season 16, episode 12. And I liked it. I actually enjoyed the episode. Hold on, let me take this down. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, let me know, please, by saying, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I don't have a lot of people over here today. Hey, Ty, welcome to the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Lady D Keys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. So listen, take the poll at the top of the chat, because I know a lot of people were loving them some Shamea when this started, okay? When this started, everybody thought Shamea was the girl. And I had said, I don't want people to get upset, but Shamea and Porsha are the same. They grew up the same. They were childhood friends. Their parents were in the same industry. They got a lot of the same personality. However, I'm going to say that Porsha may be a little more refined than Shamea. Shamea is very, very, very boisterous, and she just has a loud personality. But yeah, it is what it is. I actually enjoy it because I like to see Black women of all kinds show up. But not everybody, not everybody likes that. People like for us to be more of a monolith. But anyway, I really did enjoy the episode last night. I'm going to give it wasn't last night. What's today? Wednesday? It was Sunday night. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Tell me what y'all thought about it in the chat. What did you think about the episode? What do you rate it? Come on through, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I know it's been a minute, child, but I'm the same. I heard that people were sending some messages talking about, do you have surgery? Did you do this? I did not have surgery. I don't even know where that shit came from. I am exactly who I was before. Come on in. What do you rate the show or the episode on a scale of 1 to 10? Lady D said a 6. This was a 6 for you, Veronica. It was a good episode. 8. Okay. I thought it was an 8 too. I actually like Phaedra coming in. I was just a little disappointed at Shamea. And that is because I would have loved to have seen, and I heard Dustin say this on Monday night on Carlos King's channel, but I would have loved to have seen Shamea talk about her friendship with Porsha with her husband, because we got to incorporate that husband into the show some kind of way. Otherwise, he's just a friend, okay? Charles, Oakley, and Angela are putting it down this season. Someone said it was a 1. They said the shit sucked. Okay, what's up, Charnel? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Keep coming in, y'all. Keep coming in. Hit the like button. Anybody that you see with a purple wrench behind their name, they are the moderators for the channel. Lady D Keys, I don't care if y'all have a different opinion. Different opinions are fine. Okay? Who cares? Okay? I don't know any of these people, by the way. I'm just telling you what I see on the screen and offering my personal life experience. That's it. That's it. So it is not here to offend anybody. Hopefully we can keep it cute. You know what I'm saying? You said you think Shamea is hiding something about the relationship. Well, a whole lot of information has come out, child. we know that Shamea and her mother, and they told us this already, they were both in the daycare business. But what has also been revealed by a few bloggers is that, number one, Porsha and her mother had a daycare together, and that the daycare was doing bad financially, so bad that they thought they had to, they might have to give it up. So there was two things that was being alleged. And I'm going to say alleged because I did look it up. I did find articles on it. And I also saw other bloggers talk about it. But, I don't want no problem. So allegedly, there was an incident that happened at the daycare where a young child, I think it was their first day at the daycare, he passed away. The actual daycare itself was not held liable. So they said something like the workers had went to lunch or they were in the kitchen, the employees, and that the baby just, passed away. And they said that at the end of the day, there was an investigation done, but no one was arrested. There was no foul play. I do believe that the judge did allow the family to have a civil suit against Porsha. And I'm not sure if that actually happened. She was actually on Real Housewives at that time. So something could have happened. Maybe there was a payout, not sure. But I also heard that there was financial difficulties. The daycare went into foreclosure. And then Shamea's mother, who knew everything that was going on in that family, Shamea's mother ended up buying the daycare, from auction. And why is that bad? Well, it's bad because I saw a lot of people saying that's business. That's how it works. That's not business when that's your friend. If that's your friend, that's your bestie, that's somebody and I'm referring to the mamas, talking about the mamas right now. But if you knew that daycare had suffered those kind of pains and you watch your friend agonize with the loss of a child, agonize with the loss of, their business, and then you kind of backdoor her, you didn't let her know you were going to do it, that's not your friend. That's not your friend. So that was one of the things. Gilda said, why did they bring Phaedra's messy ass back? Welcome to reality TV, prime time. That's what it's for. Ty said, I am saying about her marriage business. That's why Gerald won't film. Shamea don't want something exposed, in my opinion. Okay. Well, we shall see. Now, remember when they first had, people were wanting Shamea to come on the show, and Shamea said that Gerald did not want it because he thought that the show broke up marriages. That was many, many years ago. But I do remember that conversation being had. Who knows now, child? But we shall see. Porsha did use the words, or she said in that post that she made, what your mama did was egregious. That would be egregious to take somebody's daycare. But look, for Sarah, the daycare was set up. It had all the rooms. It probably already passed inspection. She didn't have to build nothing. She didn't have to build anything new. Okay. What's up? Is it Taya? Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Keep coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate every single one of y'all for joining me. Okay. I do want to ask one question though. Is there any Drew Sidora fans in the chat? Their chemistry, their communication, their friendship on reality TV only spotlights the issues. You have a point. They've been married for what, 6 years? Shamea and Gerald 6 or 7 years, I think she said. So listen, I mean, possibility. If you are a Drew Sidora fan, please put it in the chat because I got something to ask y'all. If you're a Drew Sidora fan, you said, I like Drew at DYANAROZAY. What's up, Charnel? Okay. Listen, I want you to explain something to me, Charnel, because I like Drew this season. Okay. Just so y'all know, I do like Drew this season, but she is funny to me, mainly because anytime someone asks her a question about her relationship or something hard, she does one or two things. She either do this, Oh my. Oh, she'll do that shit, which I hate when people do that. I'm ready to fight when someone does that to me. Or she'll start crying, run out the room, all of those things, right? Especially when it comes to Ralph. She started crying when her own mama started talking to her like, the kids are different, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I had no idea. And she just went running out the room. I need for a Drew Sidor fan to explain this shit to me, okay? Her and Ralph. How is it that a man who brings you to tears every 2 seconds, when somebody asks you a question on the show, how is it that he can feed you and you look deeply into his eyes? And why does it look like she got bed hair? Okay, like she just rolled out the bed with Ralph. Somebody tell me that. I also want to know why the person who was videoing them, they were more giddy than Drew and Ralph. It was like they was getting back together.
Oh, Ralph. What do you call me? Oh, Ralph. What do you call me? Yo, I made all of this food here. The steak, the hot dogs, the chicken. Let me taste it. I'm going to sit down and make you a plate. Oh.
Hey, Helen.
Oh. Hey, Hi, grandmama. Helen.
You Ralph made the steak?
Oh, look at this.
See, I can't even play the audio that loud because they got music in the background. But she let this man feed her. This is someone, she said, he wants to break me. He wants me to be broke. He can't feed me. Okay? Didn't your mama tell you that once you end a friendship, you never let them feed you? Ever. Oh my goodness. Drew is a liar. Okay, listen. We done hit the 10-minute mark and then some. So let's get into this story. So it opens with Shamea and Kelly. This is important. Pay close attention because I know people don't be paying attention to the facts when they read this, when they watch this show. The show opens with Shamea and Kelly. Kelly is actually visiting Shamea at Shamea's mansion, and they start screaming to each other. Hey, Betty. Hey, Betty. What's up, best friend? What's up, best friend? This is important. In confessional, the producer said, it's interesting you're calling her best friend. Is this your best friend now? Shamea says, well, Kelly is really open. She's super easy to be friends with. Like, she's an open book. She just tells me whatever's going on, whatever she like me to know, that type of stuff. It's the very opposite of what she said about Porsha when they had their sit down and Porsha was like, I don't want to do this on camera. We can do it outside of the camera, but not on camera. So right now it feels like she is doing a crossing of the guards, a passing of the baton. She is actually drawing the line in the sand, in my opinion, in this scene, saying that I actually prefer a Kelly over a Porsha. Why is that important? Because literally every damn episode, Shamea, outside of this show, has been talking about how she wants to be friends with Porsha again, how Porsha makes her laugh, how happy she was with Porsha. But she's doing the opposite, in my opinion, on RHOA. Even though everybody kept saying it's Porsha, it may be a little bit of Shamea too. Okay. In fact, a lot of Shamea knows how to play, period. She knows how to manipulate a little bit. She knows how to turn tables, because she definitely turned the tables on Porsha last scene. Whether you like Porsha or hate her, she turned the tables on her ass. And the truth of the matter is, Porsha and Shamea weren't even good friends when they started filming. They were regular, okay? Just regular. But Shamea is playing this best friend bullshit to the hilt, okay? Let's see. I thought that would or should have been a Porsha and Shamea scene. Well, you would expect it, right? It would have been great if after we saw them have that dinner scene or lunch scene, that Porsha came over to the house and they were good, right? That would have been great. But she is definitely aligning herself with Kelly. She's definitely aligning herself with Kelly. And the production team asking her, what do you mean by calling her best friend? And then her explaining she's opposite of Porsha was all I needed to see, okay? And I guess, Kelly is easy to talk to because Kelly ends up telling her, I'm over $150-something thousand in debt. I owe that to my divorce attorney, is what she's saying. She said, my husband wants to take my soul from me. My ex-husband wanted to take my soul from me, right? So she's giving her all the details about everything, which is unfortunate, child. Divorces are expensive. People want to know why people stay married. You want to find a state that doesn't have you pay all that shit, or you don't want to have a whole bunch of assets. That's why those rich white men, them doctors and stuff, be taking their pregnant wives on boat trips into the desert or hiking trips, and then you never hear from them because they don't want to pay them damn attorney fees, okay? But Kelly explains all of that to her, and Shamea is like, "Oh my God, child, I'm sorry to hear this, whatever." Kelly ends up saying, "Listen, all of us have been having a hard time. I've been having a hard time in my personal life, and the group is divided. Okay, so why don't we take a trip?" And she asked Shamea to guess. She said, listen, Kelly even gave her a hint. She said, "It's an island in the Caribbean, baby." Shamea guessed every island outside of the Caribbean, never hit the Caribbean once. All right. She had to give at least 100 tries. But after it was all said and done, we know, at least y'all should, when people are like, "Oh, Shamea did the work." Shamea did the work to get that rich husband, child. No, there was no work done. He was just attracted to Shamea and they hit it off. Okay. Shamea is a hoot, though. They ended up going to Grenada. They said they're going to leave their troubles over there. And when they come back to Atlanta, they're going to be all good. Okay. So that's how the scene ends. But yeah, what did y'all think about that when she said, I saw somebody say that they expected Porsha to be in that scene? Someone said they are beefing for a storyline. You think so? Because they don't hang out together for nothing. And if y'all remember when they were filming and right after Porsha said she was divorcing Simon, they had that little, I don't know, they were out together. It looked like they had went on vacation together, but they haven't talked to each other after that. And we don't see them together. We hadn't seen them together in the past. I know people said you could see them on their IG. No, Porsha only hangs out with like her sister on her IG. I've never seen anybody else. Anyway, after that went down, then we get Miss Porsha Williams, child. This was a good scene. I know people have been clowning Porsha, but it was an excellent scene. Porsha gave us a lot more details into what's going on with her and Simon in this scene, okay? So she is coming there with her sister Lauren. Her mama's there, I think an assistant or another family member. And they are at a home that costs $4.5 million. The home that Porsha lives in now, the one that her marital home with Simon, that home is worth $7 million. So Porsha's looking at a $4.5 million home with 8 bedrooms, 8 baths, pool, all this shit, right? So they are walking through and Porsha's letting people know, listen, at the end of the day, she says she needs to take control of her life. Right now, everything is in turmoil and she doesn't know what's going to happen to her. She doesn't know where her and her daughter may lay their head at night. Okay, so she's basically saying she's not so sure she's going to win this divorce. And she said, I even took safeguards to make sure that if I got a divorce this time around, that I did protect myself and I'm still in a place where I may not win this case. Did y'all pay attention to that? Because y'all been looking for her to grovel. She's groveling. She's letting you know, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm very fearful that I might end up with nothing is the exact quote. Okay. Then they take a flashback. We see her with Cordell and she's basically letting people know when I was with my first husband, I wanted that marriage to work. I knew that he was the money, he was the power, all of those things. And I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. I was even submissive in that relationship, which she hasn't been before, right? So she's like, I mean, you can look at Porsha and tell that she's not submissive. You can watch that Porsha Family Matters when she was about to beat the hell out of Dennis and his mama with that light pole. Porsha's a fighter. So she said, I was even submissive. I let whatever he said go because I wanted to keep that relationship. And y'all all know Porsha made Cordell breakfast. He kissed her on the mouth, left the house and drove right on down to the courthouse. Okay. But she said this time around, she got a prenup. She was expecting that to be the stick and it wasn't. But Porsha's going to land on her feet. no matter what, just like she did after she divorced Cordell. Y'all remember she divorced Cordell. Cordell was Porsha's first. Porsha's first what? Porsha's first what? Taco. Let's see. Come on in, welcome. Thank you guys. Hit the like button. When she had divorced Cordell and everybody thought that was the end of Porsha, she was broke, she wasn't gonna get nothing. Y'all remember they had the next season. I think it was Nene. Nene walks out of her house down her driveway to pick up the newspaper. Her first husband, okay, to pick up the newspaper. And she came back in the house and said, Greg, I think I just saw Porsha driving around here. What's she doing in our neighborhood, right? I know Porsha didn't make it over here. Then Porsha ended up saying, I bought a home in Nene's neighborhood. Nene was so proud of that neighborhood. She was like, Gladys Knight lived down the street. Who else? Cedric the Entertainer. She was like, listen, I live amongst the who's. What the hell is Porsha Williams doing over here? Then they went on that trip. Porsha had that Hermes bag. And she left it on the bus. And when Nene was coming in, she was the last to come in. Somebody at the station was like, one of your people left this bag. And Nene came to the house and said, Porsha, what the hell are you doing where you would leave a Hermes bag and not even know you left it? So look, Porsha's going to land on her feet, okay? Let's see. Porsha was wasting that realtor's time. What she needs is a 7-bedroom house with that 7-bedroom house. And it's only her and PJ and Peanut Butter. Peanut Butter the dog. Well, listen, didn't Brit waste our time earlier in the season at the damn car lot when she went and got that or wanted us to think that he was going to buy her a car? And he was like, no, I'm not buying you a new car. That's what they do. They need places to film, child. So she took us there. We'll see what happens next. What else is happening? What else is happening? So after she does all that, Porsha sits down with her sister, right? And she just basically lets her sister know that she's just sad that she's back in this place that she could possibly have nothing, okay? And she also said that her and Shamea have deaded the beef, is how she said it. We've deaded the beef. We had a long talk. We discussed that our friendship and what we have going on is not for the group, and the group needs to stay the hell out of it, okay? She also said that at the end of the day, if her love is not good enough for Shamea, then she needs to find it someplace else because she's not going to put up with her shit. Now, after she says that, her sister gives a look like, oh, shit. Like, you could tell her sister didn't want her to say that, but Porsha was definitely also drawing a line in the sand, okay? You like Porsha when her and Nene were friends. Yeah, that was a good, that was like good housewife material. Anyway, we get another scene, and this is Shamea in the studio, or was she at a radio station? She was at a radio station being interviewed. Somehow her interview turns into conversation about Drew, and she calls Drew a lying ass bitch on the public airwaves, okay? Not on, Sirius radio or a station you need a subscription, on the public airwaves, which was not great. So Shamea has a real problem with Drew Sidora, even though she said she didn't, that her and Drew needed to squash their beef because she didn't have a problem with it. She ends up saying that Drew is a lying ass bitch in that scene. Clock that. Next, we get a scene with with Brit. Brit and Mike, they're in bathrobes in their bathroom drinking champagne. Not sure what that was supposed to give for us, that they have a champagne lifestyle, maybe. Nobody's buying it, and we'll talk about the reason why in just a minute. But then we came to my favorite couple on the show right now, and that is Angela and Charles Oakley. Oh my God, they are the reason that RHOA is a shit this season, period, okay? But Angela is taking Charles to visit one of the houses, okay, one of her investment properties, one of the cribs that she's trying to sell. And she's basically singing the blues to Charles. She's like, listen, I talked to the realtor, I talked to the contractor, I'm trying to do everything right. They told me that this place would be up and ready for this, that, and the other, right? So she's letting him know, and he's looking around. He's shaking his head, but he's not giving her too much. And this is how I know that Charles does care about her. Because really, when a husband sees, like, you know, you want to have your investment or whatever, and you're coming in, he's looking at shit, he'll be like, listen, I told you that this is something that you couldn't do, right? Or you shouldn't do, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do that. He kind of looked around, but he could see that she was agitated. And he was like, just sell it. Just sell it. Like, don't stress, just sell it. But she got to get all of her woes out. She's like, but look, I'm $2 million in debt. I was expecting to sell this house in 10 days. That's what my realtor told me. Had it on the market for damn near $1 million. And right now, it has been months later. I'm at the same price. I had to reduce the price to what I bought it for. So I'm still going to lose. Okay. So she's telling him that. He's listening. He's nodding. He's like, just sell it. Just sell it. Don't stress out. It's not a big deal. But she's like, I can't help it. Right. And then she said, at the end of the day, you know, my mom is here now. She went and bought a damn house in Atlanta without me even knowing. And he went, well, why didn't you put her up in this one? She said, I didn't know nothing about it. Then she starts telling him, you know, she actually says on her confessional, she said, at the end of the day, I paid damn near $500,000 for the house I bought them in Chicago. So she feels drained financially. She's like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know my head from my feet, my left from my right. Okay, so she's pissed. Anyway, after all of that happens, she also has to tell Charles, which is absolutely, again, this is real wife and husband shit. When you wrong and you got to apologize for some shit you did. Oh my God, especially when you want to be right. She said, listen, I've been on Charles's ass for 2 weeks. I have not taken my foot from his ass, because every time I walked into a room where my mama was, he looked like he was mean mugging her. He wasn't speaking to her. I was giving it to him, right? And then she said, I went and had this sidebar, this one-on-one with my mama, trying to figure out when did this shit start, you and Charles, right? 3 years ago, that's when it happened. And she said her mama finally confesses to her and said, listen, he was yelling about some shit you did, said you didn't clean up something, and I didn't like that. So I went up behind him and I said X, Y, and Z, and I wasn't even scared. Even when she said I wasn't even scared, I was like, shut up. That's how you know. That's how you know that Charles really do be putting a fear into people. She said, I wasn't even scared. I didn't like how he was talking to you. So I fucking told him, don't talk to my daughter like that, or whatever she said, okay? And she said, I did not know. So this entire time, I thought it was you. And he said, I told you, she started. I told you what happened. And she said, but I didn't know, and I'm sorry. He said, it is what it is. And she just looked at him. She said, but I apologize to you. And then after she said that, she said, can I get a hug? And he said, go hug your mama. Which I thought was hilarious, because that's some shit that my husband would have said. He said, go hug your mama. But he was joking. And it was one of those moments that broke the ice. And he was able to hug her child. And I caught this man smiling. Okay. So I thought that was hilarious. She said she walked up on him. She sure did. I'm not even making that up. She said she stepped to him when she heard how he was saying Angela didn't clean something up. And she said, I wasn't even scared. Okay. I wasn't even scared to go after him. I was like, that shit was hilarious. Anyway, she ends up hugging him, and he ends up hugging her. She asked for a hug, and he joked. And you could tell that that's just their relationship. They seem like it's kind of hard, but that's who they are. Anyway, Angela says, listen, at the end of the day, I just want you to know, I love you. We over it, okay? R.I.P. to Angela's mama. I know that she ended up passing away, I guess, sometime last year after that scene was filmed. Angela said she has no hard feelings for anybody. It's all love, but R.I.P. to her. I did say that I wanted to see more scenes between her and her mother, because she has been so open with sharing so much, but, I hate that happens. So anyway, Angela ends up telling Charles that Brit had invited her to a golf event, both of them. And she said, listen, this is an olive branch because we have not been getting along. I would really love for you to come. Charles makes a joke about, like, do I need to speak to her? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to get pissed off if I don't speak to her? And she said, no, I'm going to say hi for both of us. You ain't okay? And that's how the scene ends, which was absolutely perfect, okay? Because this is how TV is done when it's done right. You do want to see these husbands show up for their wives. And again, it shows that Charles, and even though this is a relationship where they might bump heads sometimes, they love hard, they play hard. Let's see. You were glad that they resolved their past issue before their mom. Yes. Isn't that good? I was like, even her being able to tell her the truth about her and Charles, because imagine if she would have passed away and then you would have been thinking, my husband was so mean to her. Like, I'm really happy that that happened. I agree with you 1000%. Charles is a real deal. He is what you see. And what you see is what you get. Angela knows who she married, and he's not going to change for anyone. I agree. I said that in my last review. She's not going to change for anybody. And I don't think Angela necessarily is trying to change him either. Okay. What's up, Linda Gamble? Thank you for coming through. Y'all see Linda Gamble, say hey to her in the chat. Another one of my mods, to be the level-headed one. But I really just liked it. I really liked that scene. Anyway, let's move on to the next. They're the best couple on the show. We are at Brit Edie's event. Oh, Lord, child. This was an absolute disaster. So Brit Edie is holding a golf event. Y'all know everybody had to hold an event this season, something to promote whatever they're trying to promote, okay? So Brit has done this golf event for the ladies, and it was open to the public. And I saw a few content creators at the event, like Binge Worthy and Crystal XO. I saw both of them. There may have been some others I did not recognize, but those two were there, okay? It appeared to be about 60 people, plus the cast, which was about 9 people, including the husbands, okay? But yeah, they all came, and they are dressed in their fascinator hats and, you know, high heel shoes and really nice, like, you know, event attire. Cynthia had on a beautiful silver number. Like, they were all cute. Miss Brit wanted these ladies to golf, to go out in this soft ass grass with their Louis Vuittons and stand and golf. She had no idea what the hell she was doing, okay? So she's out there in this hot ass sun, and this was supposed to be a part of the event, and everybody is talking about her bad. Then she goes inside. Everybody comes inside. What's up, Erica? Everybody is coming inside. And child, when she gets in there, she realizes that everybody has a table setting. Only 9 people are supposed to have a table setting, and that is the people who get paid to be a part of the cast. Everybody else was just supposed to have a drink ticket or be able to get drinks, which, by the way, is still dirty work. But she is pissed because now she realizes people expect to eat, and she can't feed them because there's only 9 pieces of chicken in the kitchen, okay? So she's telling everybody how upset she was and how the event planner got it wrong, and she's telling this to her husband. If y'all are drinking champagne in the bathroom, y'all need to have enough money to feed all 60 people or reduce the number of people y'all brought to the event. It didn't have to be that many people there. But now everybody knows not to go to a Brit Edie event. And then Porsha Williams says in her confessional, she says, this is tragic. She said, at the end of the day, the who's of Atlanta, they're not going to forget this, okay? Brit has a hard road to toe trying to figure out how to make up with this, okay? Let's see. Jesus, take the wheel. That was a hot ass mess. It definitely was. Brit was embarrassed as hell. She tried to brush it off. She could not. You could tell she was embarrassed. And everybody was just like, they were fit to be tied. They were playing with their phones. They were looking like, is this bitch serious? Once you get an is this bitch serious look, you can forget it. You can forget it, okay? They couldn't wait to get out of there, but they were filming. And I bet you, if production didn't tell them you have to stay once you got there, I bet you they would have dipped. I bet you they would have dipped. They would have never filmed, okay? But anyway, Brit gets up. gets the microphone, makes an announcement saying that she appreciates everybody for coming, and also she has a gift for her beautiful ladies, the special ladies. So she ends up, not only did the other guests not get a plate of food, they also didn't get a gift bag or nothing, because she ends up giving only 9 bodysuits or whatever, the body shapers, to the cast. Okay, so she gives it to the cast. Binge words, he said that everyone ate at his table except for him, but he didn't mind. Oh, is that right? Well, they didn't look like they had food on the scenes that I watch. Everybody just looked like they were sitting there with their phones in their hand. Shamea, Kelly, Brit, and Porsha have absolutely no class. Ooh, especially Shamea and Brit. Ooh, okay. So anyway, she gets up. She thanks everyone for coming. She gives everybody their gift. She gives Angela Oakley a size XL body shaper, which was definitely shade, but hell, that's what people do. That's a part of the show. Then Brit decided to come down and talk to everybody, especially Angela, because Angela and her had just got into it and she didn't know if she was going to come. So she said, I really appreciate you coming. Angela said, my pleasure, child. You know, I don't have a problem with coming. I'm just happy to be invited. And then Angela decided to let all the ladies know, just in case people are clueless, because women do like to do this shit right here. She lets all the ladies know, my husband, Charles Oakley, does not have a side baby. And just in case, since y'all all act like y'all know Charles personally, or that y'all have some sort of inside information on Charles, Charles is sitting right here beside me. So there's a shit y'all could say to him that he and I will not talk about later. That's important, because y'all know the only person who was able to get away with that was Nene Leakes. Greg did not play that shit. You couldn't sidebar Greg and say, well, you're the one who blah, 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 right? You're the one who has, you know, who's rational, who thinks things out. Greg would be like, yeah, okay, well, you know, you're going to have to talk to Nene about that. Don't put me in that shit, period. Nene will always be like, Greg belongs to me, not to y'all, child. Anyway, that was what, in my opinion, Miss Angela was giving. Don't try to say anything about this man and think that I'm not going to take it back to him. And if y'all say anything to him, don't think it ain't coming back to me. And Charles backed her up, because after she said he don't have a side baby, I guess Miss Brit got offended and said, well, you said that I was one of your husband's whores. That's when Charles looked her dead in the eye and said, you might be a whore, but I don't mess with whores. I don't mess with whores, just in case you think so. And then he did this move right here when she went, well, we were just joking. And it was something, you know, something she said to me, and he went like this, like, don't say another word to me. Don't say another word to me. I don't give a shit what you two have going on. Keep my name out your mouth. And he had already told Angela that about Porsha, which is exactly why Porsha was feeling uncomfortable when that conversation was happening. She actually like shrugged her shoulders up like this. Did y'all see this? Hold on. When when Brit and Charles got into it, Porsha went like this, like, oh my God, don't sweep past my feet with this conversation. I don't want anybody to bring this shit up. Okay. Don't say anything about me. Mike ain't say shit, and he ain't going to say shit. I didn't even know Mike was in the scene. Okay. He was all the way at the other end of the table. I said that was the smart move. Okay. But all I know is Charles didn't give her nothing. He said the shit wasn't funny. Okay. Don't make that type of joke over me. In other words, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk about me like that. You don't know anything. And I appreciated that. But anyway, Porsha was sitting there like, please don't hit me. And at one point she went, who said that? Because everybody at this point is uncomfortable with Charles Oakley telling Miss Brit, keep my name out your mouth, in a nice way. Okay. The chicken wasn't that good, ma'am. They really don't want none of Angela, for sure. Anyway, after they do all that shit, right? After Angela and Brit have their moment, then we get Miss Drew Sidora. She says to Brit, I appreciate you inviting me too, because I know you and I didn't, you know, we had our little moment. But if you would like to talk, let's do it outside of here. I'll be happy to talk to you, okay? Which was a cool thing to do. Kelly jumps in and said, well, make sure you're being honest or some shit like that, because Kelly is essentially calling Drew Sidora a liar. She says off camera, I don't know a whole lot about Drew, but I do know she lies a lot. Shamea backed her up and started calling Drew Nokio. Okay, so this is a good scene too. Now, I told y'all that it was Shamea who was starting the beef between Drew and Porsha. Y'all didn't believe me though. Everybody keeps saying it's Porsha, it's Porsha. It was Shamea who held that phone in Drew Sidora's face and said, "You have been seen about town with Porsha's baby daddy, that y'all been wearing matching outfits, that y'all were holding hands." She started that. She gave the phone to Drew to say, this is my information. Drew didn't take the phone though. And she just started playing coy like, oh, what? No. What? I've not heard that. So Drew kept, fanning the flames, but she definitely was doing it. Diana, did you see the decorations coordinator? She said she had nothing to do with the food. Brit was blaming her for that mess. Yeah, we all know that Brit just messed up. She's a liar, okay? Okay. Anyway, at the end of the story, it was Shamea who started it, and then this is when Shamea and Drew Sidora get into it, because Shamea said, well, since we're talking about it, I really didn't appreciate the fact you called me a lapdog. That's harsh, Drew. I don't like that, okay? And Drew said it was harsh of you to fan the flames and make it seem like something I was saying in a good way was a bad thing, okay? You already knew me and Porsha had issues, and then you are her fucking lapdog because you're still taking shit back to her that wasn't true. So Drew was coming back at Shamea, definitely and for show. And Porsha even said on Watch What Happens Live that when she saw the scene, it wasn't as bad as Shamea made it out to be. So we all know that Shamea might have, a tendency to exaggerate a little bit, to put a little stank on it, because apparently everybody thought it wasn't that big of a deal when Drew said it, including Angela. Now, I do remember the scene, and they were talking bad about Porsha a little bit, saying, Porsha ain't really your friend. Why would your friend, in quotes, make it seem like that was Drew's song and not your song? So the tone of it did seem like you were coming in behind her and saying, and by the way, the bitch need to get her act together, because my money, and when it comes to her talking about me and Hot Dog Man, because I'm going to help pay for her college. So it didn't sound like it was said in a good way to me, but it is what it is. Either way, Drew in this scene is being definitely the bigger person. She definitely put her foot all the way on Shamea's throat. Shamea looked horrible in this scene, especially after she does all that. She turns around and said, kiss my motherfucking ass, bitch. She started sing-songing that. She did it at least twice. I was sitting there like, Shamea, why would you let Drew Sidora, of all the people, reduce you to this bullshit? This is wrong. This is wrong. This is what should not be happening. Don't bring up anyone else's child, because if Porsha brought up Drew's kid, people would be mad. Drew was being shady. It's giving Eva. Now, I said, TR, I absolutely said that the scene, when you saw it, it did not seem like she was giving some sort of compliment. I don't think she was. I think that they had been shading her and getting in Shamea's ear, saying, listen, you shouldn't be a friend to Porsha. And then that seemed to have been tacked on. I agree. I don't think that Drew was saying it as a compliment, like, we could take your kids to college. Why not put your kids in it then and say all of our children could go to college off of this money? Also, after she said it, Shamea said, PJ's college is taken care of. That was a whack back. Like, don't do my friend like that. So I agree with you in that regard. Okay. And PJ got a album of her own, which sound like it's a bomb. I heard that little, it's PJ Day, it's PJ Day, whatever Porsha had playing over there. I almost bought the album for me. Anyway, long story short, Shamea embarrassed herself by saying, kiss my mother effing ass, bitch, right? She sang that for a couple of times. Drew gives her a look like, are you 3 years old? Like, where's this coming from? After that, everybody starts getting up and leaving. That was the close of the party. I think Cynthia said, this is it for me, child. I didn't get dressed up for this shit. So friend of the show, I can go. Okay, so she leaves. Who else left? After that, I think all of the guests started walking out the door once Cynthia left. And that was pretty much it. It was a bad event. Brit looked bad for show. Shamea definitely looked bad. I'm going to say, Drew, you didn't look that great either, child. Didn't look that great either. So anyway, she did punch back at Shamea and made Shamea look like a punk. I'll say that. Shamea looked like a little bit of a punk in that scene. Anyway, let's get to Drew. All you Drew fans, Drew broke. She ain't got no money. She was filing unemployment last year and defaulted on unpaid loans. Yes, that is what I heard. That's true. Okay, y'all. So listen. The next scene up, we have Drew Sidora. She's signing her record deal, or she's signing with, I guess, a distribution company for her music, which is great. Congratulations to her. And she's talking to, I guess, members of her team. And she said, listen, I have this, shit on my mind about the possibility that Dennis might have told Porsha that I tried to sleep with him in exchange for music, right? So it's been spread around the group. Once Angela gets it, you can guarantee everybody got it. That's number one. But Porsha showed a text to Shamea. She showed a text to Ralph, Drew's husband. So that was, I think 2 episodes ago. So Drew is aware that Dennis may have given proof to Porsha. And this is where shit gets really bad, because a lot of people have been saying, this is Porsha. Again, I'm just going to put it out there. What could Dennis have said that would have gotten Porsha to a place where she thought that was real? Why would you send her that text? Unless you wanted Porsha to feel a way about some shit, right? Because Dennis keeps walking around doing interviews basically saying that he still loves his baby mama. It's possible that Dennis could have said, listen, I know how to get back at Porsha. I know how to get your music out to the people. Just let me handle it. And he may have sent her that text and it wasn't true. Don't know. But what I can say is that a man who only puts half his fucking face in the phone and then have glasses on so that you can't see his eyes when you ask him a question, he is deceitful. He's being deceitful, period. But she says, listen, I got to ask Dennis this question before we move forward. Otherwise, I don't want to go into business with Dennis. This is what Drew Sidora says. This could have been a conversation that they had off screen in order to make this shit work. But she ends up calling him, putting him on FaceTime. In fact, whoever is a part of her team said, put him on FaceTime. This is what made me say, is this a real conversation or not? Why would you tell her to put him on FaceTime? Why does he need to be on FaceTime for you? But when he gets on FaceTime, he only got half of his damn face in the camera and his eyes are covered up. And when you need the truth from somebody, you need to look in their eyes to make sure that they're being truthful. You need to look in their eyes and make sure they're being truthful. And she didn't get that from him. So I was like, there's some deceit happening here. I don't care. I get it. Possibly Dennis lied, maybe not. Drew apparently was going through her divorce shit. Dennis was going through his breakup shit with Porsha. You got 2 heartbreaks in the same room, writing lyrics, talking about, their past loves. Some shit could pop off. That's why you're not supposed to befriend anybody who's going through that kind of stuff. Not Horsham. Porsha, you're calling her Porsha? Okay, look, did you do a typo? Okay. Porsha and Dennis will be back together by the end of the year if they're not already. Yeah, they are really giddy with each other. Okay, they really are. But anyway, just so y'all know, whatever happened in the scene, this was bullshit. You can't take Dennis's word for it. Dennis sent that girl a text that said something. Porsha has been showing that text to her castmates to say, is this true? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be shown as a liar. Now, Porsha did come out and say, listen, I think it was all a joke. I think it was something they did to promote, Drew's album, and something that they did to give Drew more of a storyline. But at the time, I do think she believed it. Dennis and Porsha on that bullshit when it comes to Drew. Don't act like Drew has not been fanning the flames. She on that bullshit too. Because in this episode 12, this is the first time she said that she didn't fuck Dennis. She said, yeah, I don't know why people would say that. I would never sleep with Dennis. She's never said that before. Episode 1 through 11, all Drew would say is, that's my bro. That's my bro. Why would you think that? Even when Angela asked her, there is a text from Dennis where he said, you wanted to exchange butt for beats. She did not say, let me call that motherfucker right now, because that's a lie. That's what a normal person would do. Okay? If somebody, not even Porsha, came to me and said, look, this is what is being said about you, you would call Dennis immediately. In the scene, she should have called Dennis. She didn't. That shouldn't have been a flashback scene. That should have been a definite, let's film it. They filmed this scene for a reason. This is a play on the audience, okay? This isn't real. This is just deceitful. And a lot of people took this to be honest. This was deceitful, period. Dennis likes TV time. I noticed it on Porsha's Family Matters. He's super messy. Drew definitely feeds into it. She was posting pics with her and Dennis. Facts. Imagine if Porsha posted pics with Ralph. Facts. She was feeding into it. She was feeding into it. But anyway, for the first time ever, she makes that declaration. I would never. Child, you should have said you would never. When Shamea put that phone in your face, you should have said you would never. You're not doing what you're supposed to do as a friend either. So this isn't one-sided. She has a lot to blame for this too. Or, you know, you can put the blame on her too. Anyway, at the end of the day, her and Dennis, they all get on their conference call and they ended up signing the deal. She said that her and Dennis are completely professional now. It's good energy, but I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Drew did flirt with Dennis a little bit, just like she flirted with Tai Young. She said there was a lot of heavy flirting. Not going to deny, definitely flirting. Ciao, bye. She gave Dennis blue balls, and she gave Dennis blue balls. Okay. Let's see. The last scene is Frack is back. Miss Frack has entered the building, child. And that is Phaedra, who said that she is happy to be back where she belongs. Okay. She definitely flirted with Dennis. I agree. I think the reason why she was afraid, let's go back to this scene. I think the reason why she was afraid to give a definitive, I did not do that, is because she didn't know what Dennis was going to say. That's what I think. I think that she was okay with having this conversation when she knew what Dennis was going to say because they talked about it. And I think that's the reason why Dennis only got half of his face in on the phone and glasses on. Because who does that? Put your face in the phone, dude. That's crazy. Anyway, Frack is back. So Porsha ends up visiting Phaedra at her house, child, at her little mansion. And Phaedra has to atone for her sins a little bit. So she ends up saying, listen, what the lie she had made on Candy, drugging people in the dungeon, she said that wasn't her finest moment. She said, however, she's not going to let that stop her bag. And also, he who is without fault cast the first stone. So she basically said, I ain't gonna give Kandi too much. Okay, it wasn't my finest hour, but not a real apology for anything. At the end of the day, I know Kandi has done some shit, is what Phaedra is saying in this scene. I know Kandi has done some shit, so I don't feel bad. I feel no ways about this, okay? I've moved on. It hasn't stopped shit over here, and it doesn't look like it stopped anything for Kandi, so who cares? I am back on the show from which I started and where I belong, okay? Hold on. Y'all notice how some bloggers said that Dennis called Porsha a liar in the scene? He did not. He absolutely didn't. He literally said that they were working, and let's focus on that. He did not deny the proof of the text. Okay, thank you, TR. TR is correct. That's why I said the shit was deceitful. A lot of people watched this scene and they did not see it for what it was. Drew got played in this scene, to be honest. He keeps it a buck. He is gang for Porsha. He's never going to call Porsha a liar. He just said, I'm surprised you believe that. That's how he put it. He didn't call her a liar, though. Okay? Anyway, in this scene, Porsha basically lets Miss Phaedra know that the new girls are here. You're going to get to meet everybody. I'm so happy you are back. Okay? And Miss Phaedra ends up giving a rundown of everybody, all the new ladies. Okay? She called Shamea strawberry shortcake. She also called her a part of the little people crew. For whatever reason, Miss Phaedra thinks she's tall. She's not, okay? But she did say she doesn't require a handicap sticker. Apparently, Kelly does, okay? So that's number one. She called Brit a woman about town and the city and the country, okay? So she's calling Brit a whore, okay? She said that Brit got more bodies than Willie the Undertaker. She also said that Shamea is good people. So even though her and Shamea didn't have a great relationship, because I remember her and Shamea, Phaedra and Shamea getting into it, and I think Phaedra said that Shamea tried to sleep with Apollo. Y'all remember that? Anyway, that's the last part of the scene I remember. Either way, Phaedra said that Shamea is good people and that she frequents her retail store all of the time. So you got to go there by appointment. And she says she's always there. She loves Shamea. She ain't got nothing bad to say about Shamea, okay? She also said that Drew, because Porsha said, yeah, apparently Drew likes hot dogs now. At least I heard that she might be sitting on Dennis's hot dog. Phaedra I thought it was Kandi. You thought who was Kandi? Did I say somebody's name wrong? Drew said that, Phaedra said that she thought Drew liked tacos now, which was a dig at her for having a relationship with Ty Young, the basketball player. So Shamea, actually, Phaedra said that Shamea tried to sleep with Apollo. She said that Shamea sleeps with other people's husbands. She likes to sleep with other people's husbands. Remember? And then Shamea said that she was dating Gerald at that time, and it could have messed up her relationship. They also said that Shamea was trying to sleep with Kandi. You're right. So she said two things. She said two things. I thought it was, she said two things. So she did accuse her of trying to sleep with Apollo, number one. That's a fact. And she also said that her and Kandi she made that motion. The three of them sleep together. She sure did. Thank you for correcting me or reminding me. So that's true. She said it about all of them. So she didn't like it, but she started off not liking Shamea because she said that she tried to sleep with Apollo. That's how it started, just so y'all know. Her and Shamea got into it on RHOA because of that. But anyway, they're friends now. Water under the bridge, child. Okay. And then she ended up saying that Angela Oakley, who's Angela? Because I didn't even know that Charles was married. Now I know Charles well. Charles is entertaining. He's funny. definitely know Charles, but didn't know that he had a wife. Okay. So those are all of the things that went down. Porsha ends up basically calling Shamea and Kelly and getting an official invite to the trip that they're going to have. And that was pretty much it. That's how it ended. What were you about to say, Ty? You're going to say they probably did. Well, the other thing that Phaedra said is that Atlanteans are very fluid, that it could go both ways for people in Atlanta. I'm not native Atlanta. I'm just going to say that. I do live here now, but I'm not native. But apparently, according to Miss Phaedra, it could go down either way. It is what it is. I don't know. Listen, while Shamea wanted to sleep with Apollo, that is what Phaedra accused Shamea of doing. She did accuse her of that on the show. On the show, y'all. Y'all can Google it. And Shamea told her, kiss my motherfucking ass, bitch. No. She said that she could tell her what Apollo do want to sleep with or who Apollo has slept with. She made some sort of comment like that. Like, you worried about me? You need to be worried about these other women, okay? But yeah, that was the show. That was the show. Anyway, I was a little rusty, child. I ain't gonna lie, because I ain't been on live in a while. So it takes a minute to warm up and know where all your buttons are. Okay. Did I miss anything? Did y'all see anything that I missed? My name ain't Faye bit. Okay. That's what she said on Married to Medicine. She didn't say bitch. She said bad body bitch. Yeah, bad body bitch. I was like, not bad body, child. But yeah, Dennis was actually on a podcast recently where they said something like, how do you feel about Porsha? Blah, 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 blah. And he said, you ain't never going to tell me nothing bad about Porsha. That's baby mama. That's gang. She's everything. He said that he will always love Porsha. Always is how he put it. So just so y'all know, thank you, Charnel. I appreciate you. Okay. I want to make sure all of y'all come back because I'm going to go live again, child, with some news. We're going to talk about Diddy and some other stuff. Kelly called her Faye when they were faced. Oh, really? Oh, Kelly called her Faye. Okay, that I didn't see. But Kelly and Phaedra are real cool, by the way. They both seem to like each other. Phaedra says she likes anybody little, and Kelly said the same thing. She said the little sticks together. Okay, so they seem real cool. We'll have to see. The fight that's going to come up is going to be between Phaedra and Angela. Apparently, they're going to get into it, and it's going to be so bad that they're still not good now. So right now, Phaedra is acting way too familiar, right, with Angela's husband, and that's the reason why Angela brought Charles to that party anyway, to let people know, stop making yourselves too familiar with Charles, because it's never going to happen. I loved it. Martell, take notes from Dennis. Child, that boat has sailed. That boat has sailed. The littles are feisty. Yes. So my guess is going to be that Phaedra is going to say something about Charles that Angela is not going to like too much. And that's going to start the next war. But Angela does not seem to be forgiving either. At this point, she's not talking about Phaedra at all. And when everybody keeps asking questions like, we heard they got into it, can you give us anything? They're just like, no, we just hope that they can, work past it. So Phaedra and Angela are going to get into each other's face. On the after show, Shamea influenced Kelly to say something negative about Phaedra after Kelly said that she liked her. Ooh, what did she say? I watched the after show. I still don't think Shamea likes Phaedra. She holds grudges. You think so? Well, she's buying items from her store. She's putting money in her pocket. And they've taken pictures together, like, I don't know, within the last year or so, where they seem like they could be cool. TR is saying Kelly is now Shamea's lapdog. You got a point. Kelly and Shamea, I told y'all they opened the scene saying that they're best friends. Hey, best friend. And then Shamea explained, Kelly is easier than Porsha is. She's easier to be a friend to. She tells me things. I don't have to pry to get things out of her. She's open. She was saying all the stuff she was accusing Porsha of. That wasn't an accident. And I know y'all love when people be smiling when they're talking and they kind of, do this whole, I'm so sincere. Child, bye. Those are the ones you watch out for. She knows how to turn it on and turn it off. She's an actress. Okay, I think she was just in a movie. Was it a couple of months ago? Porsha was in a movie and Shamea was in a movie, I believe. Pay close attention. Then they know how to turn it on for the audience, but they are acting. They are acting. I think they are best friends because Porsha is not really feeling Shamea right now. Okay. Well, I think they've been off. I don't think they've been friends for a minute. I think they've been friendly. And I think, they got history together, but I don't think they've been best friends for a minute. I don't think they've been best friends for a minute. What did y'all think about Shamea in the after show getting up and crying? She got up and cried and walked off set. Didn't anybody find that a little fishy? A little, suspect? And then Kelly was like, aw, that's a play. Oh, yes. Kelly and Shamea are best friends now. I do agree with that. I think that they're closer, especially best friends on the show. I think they're definitely closer than any of the other ones. That's a fact. That's a fact. But that's what y'all need to know, okay? Shamea is always crying. I agree with you that Porsha and Shamea haven't been friends for a while. Shamea is fake. Like all the ladies, I think that Porsha and Phaedra are going to bring us some of that old school energy. I think that's going to happen. Thank you. Hi, Miss Tina. Thank you for coming through. Hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. Know that, okay? Who else do y'all need to know? Just know that Angela's not about the shits, which we already knew. Angela doesn't play when it comes to her husband, but she also wants the ladies to know they can't drive a wedge between her and her husband. And that's why I said, I think that Phaedra might have gotten a little too familiar with Angela and probably said something she wasn't supposed to say, because y'all know Phaedra loves to say what? Yeah, I know such and such. And I can see her saying, I know Charles. I didn't know he had a wife. That's going to get you a foot up your ass is what's going to happen with that. Okay. And just know that these two are deceitful. This scene was a whole joke. Okay. Dennis has half of his face in the screen to stop himself from laughing. He doesn't want anybody to clock it. He's not being sincere at all. But they do have an album out and it sounds like the album is amazing. Congratulations to her. When Shamea walked off, I laughed because, girl, what? She keeps saying that she doesn't talk about Porsha or listen to others, and Kelly proves that a lie at every interview. Fact. You're 1000% correct. I agree with you. And I said this even in my last review. I said, listen, at the end of the day, everything that Shamea accused Porsha of, she actually did in that scene. Why is she listening to others? Why is she talking to others about me? I would have never did that to her. You're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. So I don't know. If you're not paying attention, sometimes, the audience can get tricked a little bit. And it's no coincidence that when Porsha responded to Shamea, what did she say? You can do all of that, faking and pretending. What did she call her? Victim bullshit. She said, you can play that victim bullshit, but it doesn't work with me because I know who you are. I agree. I think that she's good at it. I think she's good at it. That doesn't mean she doesn't have value, though. I like her, but I do want to see her have more scenes. Even if she didn't talk to her husband about her friendship with Porsha, I would have loved to have seen her talk to her sister or someone who knew their relationship from back in the day, like her mother maybe. Because Porsha talked to her mama about Shamea a little bit. I would think that Shamea would talk to her mama Yep, you're right. Angela is the one who nobody's going to fool. Nobody on the show can fool her, including Drew, because when she went to Drew and told her about what Dennis said, what did Angela do? Like she was kind of like, I don't know if I can take this for serious. Angela is excellent. If I didn't know any better, I'd be like, what else did Angela play in? It's like this isn't her first rodeo. Angela is excellent on this show. Okay? But anyway, that is it. That's the review, baby. I appreciate every single one of y'all for coming over and hanging out with me this afternoon talking about RHOA. And I appreciate all of my mods too. Thank you guys. Okay. Anyway, we'll get a new episode. I don't know how many episodes they have this season. Y'all remember when RHOA used to do like, I don't know, 18 or 22 episodes a season? Okay. So anyway, y'all come back. Make sure y'all take my polls every day. I put them on my community wall. Okay. And we're going to be back to talk about some news after I get my work together, after I get everything straightened out. But that's it, y'all. Hit the like button, share the video, follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. Okay. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.